Okay, thank you all for coming. This is Models, Communities and Environment, and I'm going to give you a little interdisciplinary introduction to modeling, particularly in anthropology. My name is Fabio Correa. I'm a physicist with a master's in physics, and this is my first year in the doctoral program in anthropology. Now, we'll be discussing very briefly, as a little summary on what's models, what's modeling, and how models are applied in arts, science and medicine, and in anthropology. And I will be showing you a very superficial interdisciplinary research design that will be hopefully a contribution for my dissertation in the future. So what's a model? A model is a simplification of the real world. That's a really broad concept, a really broad definition. It's a reproduction of something of interest from the world that we want to use to understand the real thing, and this is a science that is applied in many different fields. Modeling is understanding the world using models. So I would like to illustrate to you how's modeling in arts. So you guys know these very famous masterpieces. They were not built as models, of course, but they were built with the purpose of showing us very important aspects of humanity. For example, King David here, or the house of Claude Monet in this suburb of Paris. What we see here is that models are simplifications of the world, because naturally these are not real people. This is just a sculpture, this is just a painting, right? These are reproductions, and they were built, they were developed with particular specific purposes. Now, in arts, we have many different kinds of models. In film, naturally, we have different masterpieces that show us different aspects of humanity. For example, Citizen Kane shows us about greed, about regret, for example, and it shows us, for example, how's the American society after the Great Depression. And we have, for example, Star Wars showing us loyalty and showing us dreams, right? So these are simplifications of real aspects of humanity. Now, there's another important way in which models are used in film. For example, this is some technology that does not exist, a Star Destroyer. Right? This is a vehicle that does not exist. It's a product of the imagination of a person. And now, for the purpose of filming, a model is built just to represent this concept. And as film has been developing, and in all the history of film, models have been developed to represent many different things, like whole cities, or houses, or cars, or even characters. Now, you guys know of computer-generated imagery is something that we see every day in film. These are models as well, because they are used to represent characters, to represent monsters or creatures, etc. And I wanted to show you this just to let you to show you how models can be limited by the power of computers. So models 20 years ago were it was really easy to see a model in a film, but now in today's movies, it's very difficult to see where is the actor and where is the character, where is a CGI reproduction of an actor, for example. It's difficult to do that today because technology has progressed and the power of computers has been developed greatly in these decades. So, so two aspects that I would like you guys to take out of this. Models are simplifications of the real world. They are by no means simple or simplistic. They can be really complicated, and they can be limited according to what we use to model. Now, let's go to science and medicine. And you can find a wide range of models with concrete purposes, and unlike what we see in arts. For example, we have here, at your left, you can see a model used in medicine. And this is a model for a dosage for radiotherapy, for the treatment of cancer. So what we have here is a physical model, a physical representation of the human head. And this takes some aspects of the human body, particularly the chemical composition, and makes a representation, a simplification that can be used to see how a therapy with a radioactive element can affect, can burn the different parts of our head. And this is used on a daily basis in medicine. Another model that you see to your right is, let me see if I can see, I have a pointer here, yeah, weather models. People here in temperate zones of the Earth, we use models every day, and this is, at your fingertips, you're using an app on your cell phone, but behind this thing that is seemingly simple, the weather prediction, is a big model involving a lot of data taking from all around the world on a daily basis. And these models, something very important about these models is that they not only allow us to understand how weather is behaving right now, but it also allows us to make predictions of what the weather is going to be today, tomorrow, or 3 months from now. Now, another important part of modeling, you can see here in the background, is the recent discovery of gravitational waves, which was predicted by Albert Einstein 100 years ago, and using a mathematical model, which is the general relativity. And computer models have been developed around this prediction for these decades, these 100 years, in order to develop instruments for measurement of gravitational waves and to make predictions of how these waves will behave in such a way that the instrument that finally was able to measure gravitational waves already had people, and the team behind it already knew how the waves would look. So what we have here would be two black holes that were rotating and then collapsing on themselves. So the entire fabric of the space-time was under disturbance, really like a Star Trek thing. Now let's go to anthropology. So in anthropology, over the decades, we have seen different kinds of models. But we have, for example, are cultural models or models of cultures, which are mostly conceptual models. What this means is that we use words to describe them. And words are also simplifications of culture, because words will never be enough to describe a culture, right? You have to be there, you have to be part of the culture in order to understand it. But we use words all the time in order to try to understand cultures. Now, there's other kinds of models that have been opening doors, trailblazing on anthropology, and two fields in which this is particularly true are social systems, for example, the behavior of communities or the development of social networks, and socio-ecological systems, in which we can study, for example, the relationship of us, human society, and the environment as a consequence of its culture. And we have seen several very interesting examples. However, for the sake of time, well, I would like to show you very simple examples. Social environmental models would use, for example, this diagram to show how people, how societies and their cultures interact with the environment. We have, for example, changes in the environment provoking adaptations in humans and also in animals. Animals and humans have biological means of adaptation to the environment, and humans have also cultural means of adaptation to the environment, where according to the theory of evolution, and particularly natural selection, if an animal species or if people do not adapt to changes in the environment, then they will go into extinction. So in turn, humans and also animals make changes to the environment. Humans particularly do this most because there's construction, extraction, contamination of the environment. So we in turn modify the environment. So what I have done here is show you very conceptually what a social and environmental system would look like. So what we have here, humans change. And this cultural adaptation is how humans, through our culture and our choices, we adapt to the changes in the environment and we in turn change. I really need to run here. One of the ways in which we can make models for social environmental systems would be agent-based modeling, in which we have a landscape, for example, a city or the countryside, and we have people there, and we create the social network that these people have. And we look at their behavior, for example, in the management of resources. For example, in agriculture, how are they sowing in this land and how are they growing crops in this land. So this would be one instance in which we could do this. Now this is my last slide. From this introduction, I would like to show you a little research design that would involve anthropology and also my background in simulation. We could work with a community and we would like to improve their way of life by looking at problems in their interactions with the environment. So in order to start with that, we would start with an ethnography and with data collection, quantitative, qualitative data collection about the communities and also about the environment. This data would be part of an interdisciplinary research effort which would involve ecological anthropology. Unfortunately, for the sake of time, I cannot talk about it. Computer simulation, for example, the agent-based model that I showed you in the previous slide. And according to what this model allows us to predict and the recommendations that we can make from this computer model, we can help create policy or engage the community in intervention that helps implement these predictions to improve their quality of life and their interaction with the environment. So I hope this introduction has been helpful to you guys, and well, I'll see you soon, and I hope to show you some results from this point of view, anthropology. Thank you very much.
And we still have the better part of his remaining 2 minutes, so if somebody has a question. Two.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, like, do you have any projects on the horizon in terms of simulation that you're thinking about or that you're ready to work on?
Yes, I don't, well, I have one particular project that I would like to engage in. In this particular research design, something that I didn't mention is that I wouldn't take over all of this, right? As this is interdisciplinary, so we would have some professionals working in some of the areas, and actually some of this data is available. And I'm referring to Dr. Shandown is here, his work in Belize with Sweden agriculture, which is a very integrated human environmental system. Now, this is a very preliminary work, in which I'm trying to engage. Right? He has a lot of experience in the field. Now I'm like a newcomer here, so that's why I try to not to mention too much. Now.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I still have 1 minute. So it would be how the landscape of the Belize land is shaped by the slash and burn agriculture that is being practiced there. How can it be made resilient to different social situations that are being going on in the society? Particularly people having to migrate for different reasons, and how can this system be improved on the way of these situations? Okay, hope that helps.
All right, unless there's anything else pressing, maybe we'll try to have some time at the end too for general discussion. Should maybe move
Thank you very
on
much.
to China.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Is this a general computer?
Yes, ma'am.
It is.
Alright, good. Because